figure I'd kill some time here, I decided I was going to talk about an issue of Daredevil that I incidentally got from an auction that I had won some comics in. So this auction took place yesterday. It was all online. Quite a few flats of comic books. Unfortunately, I was not able to snag the ones that I really, really wanted. They went for quite a price, but took some time off today and drove and was able to pick up the flat that I won, and I also won a, real sturdy wooden, I don't know about wooden, but I was thinking maybe it was a hard, plastic cardboard combination comic box that had Spider-Man on the front. Not the case. This thing is a wooden toy box that had Spider-Man on it. And that wasn't that old. It was probably from the 90s. But anyway, I got that for $1. Nobody else bid on it. I thought it was a box for comics, and it wasn't. It was just an actual wooden toy box, I think. But also won a flat of comic books. I didn't know what was in it. I knew of one thing I think that was in it, and that was some Green Goblin comics, which the Green Goblin had a mini-series, and it wasn't like the Osborn Goblin, if I remember right. This was back in the 90s. So that's all I knew that was in it. I knew the flat was not packed, but I mean, it probably had about, between 30 and 40 comics in the flat that I won. I took a chance. I won it for $10. Ended up with let's just say I ended up with probably, 15 issues of stuff from Free Comic Book Day in the last 3 or 4 years. I know one of them was a Bloodshot comic with Vin Diesel on the front, so that was 2019, I think. So I got a bunch of those were in it. So I'd probably say that was about half the comics. And then the other half was stuff from the early to mid 90s. Darkhawk, I got 3 or 4 issues of that, and I got 4 or 5 issues of Morbius. And then there were these Daredevil comics in there that were not for resale. I believe, actually Chris Armstrong kind of confirmed what I was thinking. We both think that they came from the figures that you could buy. They were not for resale comics packaged in with action figures. So there was one featuring Bullseye, the other one featuring the Kingpin. So I assume those are the figures that it was packed in with. But that's not the purpose of what I'm doing here today. You guys are going to get to hear a live reaction, maybe edited down just a little bit, but a reaction to a comic that I found in there that I did not know existed. And this is actually a Daredevil comic. It's called Daredevil versus Vapora. Okay, so clearly a one shot. It's issue number 1, and let me describe the cover to you here. The cover has Daredevil who looks like he's choking. All right, because there's this vaporous form of some evil lady by the name of Vapora choking him. But the eye catcher of it is the young kid that is completely oblivious as to what's going on behind him, playing with a little truck in front of Daredevil. So I assume Daredevil was trying to get his attention, but Vapora, unfortunately, has got him by the throat, and he cannot call out to this kid who's gleefully playing in front of him and reaching for a gasoline can. So I cracked this baby open. It's in mint condition. Yes. This was produced by Marvel Comics and Gamma, G-A-M-A. And this is on the back cover. This educational program is sponsored by the Gas Appliance Manufacturers Association in cooperation with the Consumer Product Safety Commission, National Safe Kids Campaign. So yes, this is one of those PSA team-up books, and trying to educate kids on what not to do. Some basics on, how not to kill yourself. Don't grab a live wire. Don't go heading out into an open field during an electrical storm. Things of that nature. So I'm going to read this. Now, obviously, like I said, I'll edit this down to get all the juicy bits because I have it in my hands right now. And to give you an idea who the creative team is here, we got Mindy Newell as the writer, Mike Harris as penciler, Don Hudson inker, Rick Parker lettering, George Russo's colorist, Glenn Herdling editor, and Tom DeFalco editor-in-chief. Daredevil vs. Vapora, Volume 1, Number 1, 1993. Doesn't even have a month on it. Of course, that makes sense because they probably just distributed these things out to kids, probably in schools, I would assume. But I like the inside cover here. Keep Vapora in the can. And there's our villainess, this wispy, fiery-haired woman. It dwells in gasoline cans, waiting to escape, waiting for a chance to cause destruction and pain. And it goes on to show us how a gasoline can should be properly sealed. Looks like the cap needs to be on tight, vent needs to be closed. We get a little bit of education on how gasoline vapors are very dangerous. Please remember, gasoline is a motor fuel only. Should never be used to clean or remove things. Should never be used indoors. Best to use it all up and not store any. Oh boy, I store plenty of gas in my house, unfortunately, out in my garage. But if you do some, make sure it's always tightly sealed and kept where it can't be knocked over. Okay, very good. By the way, this is 1993 Parents' Choice approved. That's right. All right, so let me look here. Daredevil apparently on our first splash page. Oh, by the way, the title of this story is A Season for Tears. But yeah, our splash page shows Daredevil escaping a burning building with a young child in his hands. Ooh, so apparently this kid's dad planned on using gasoline to remove the kitchen tiles. Uh-oh. Apparently that caused the fire. I have never heard of that. Now, granted, I'm not the most handiest of people, so I have heard in passing that gasoline can be used to remove some things. I have heard that gasoline can be used in some type of cleaning purposes. Oh, Daredevil's a little afraid that he's going to get caught in this blaze. I gotta say, a little too many lines on Daredevil's face. Like, they're using lines for shading here. And it looks strange. It looks old. Oh, someone is laughing at the fact that Daredevil barely escaped from this blaze. And there is Vapora. Okay, let me read you her dialogue here. Our first introduction to Vapora. She says, ha 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 ha, die, pain, die, pain. Nice. Jeezy criminy, that girl that he rescued had third-degree burns over 75% of her body. Oof. Oh, looks like the landlord of the building is being accused of arson. Matt Murdock's going to take the case. So it looks like Matt makes his way to the remains of the house, and he's talking to policemen, I think, or maybe it's an arson investigator. Matt's on to the fact that it smells like gasoline vapor still in the air. Oh, we get a little bit of education on how gasoline vapor works from our investigator. Gasoline fumes are heavier than air. They move like some invisible fog. When those fumes come in contact with something like a pilot light in a stove or a clothes dryer or a water heater, well, then you got trouble. I've seen cases where fumes travel down to an ignition source in the basement. Anything could have set this off, Mr. Murdock. A candle, a cigarette, even a spark from a light bulb. That always worries me. I'm always afraid I'm going to turn something on and then the electrical charge of whatever it is that powers up is going to cause some kind of explosion because I can't smell the gas or something. Oh, here's Vapora. Vapora's back. A shiver runs down his spine, tickling his coccyx and raising the hackles on his neck. Oh, looks like Matt Murdock is responsible for giving Vapora her name. Don't you see it? It's some type of vaporous thing. A Vapora. And the investigator's like, did I see? Obviously, hearing a blind man ask him if he saw something, taking him a little bit by surprise. Oh, boy. Oh, here goes. Oh, geez. So our next scene, Vapora is making her way to another household, and there's this kid who's in this playpen. The mom is using gasoline to clean the carpet? Surely not. Let me see what this says. Oh, yep, gum on the new carpet. How many times have I told that kid not to chew gum in here? I think the kid's trying to reach for the gasoline can. So this must be the kid on the front of our book. Oh, yeah, here we go. And our mother of the year here, this is the 90s. This is funny because it was the 90s. She gets a little, wore out from trying to clean the gum off the carpet. With the gasoline can open, she sits back and lights up a cigarette. Oh, and Vapora, hunger, feed, need more pain. Oh boy. All right, what's going to happen here? Oh, that's the end of that. Okay. We're not. I hope we can come back to that because that is a horrible situation. Our final panel there, flames are arcing from her hand. I assume it's going to go back to the gasoline can. She's obviously screaming in terror and probably horrible pain while her son looks on, and that's it. We switch over to what looks to be a garage. And in the garage, this woman's bringing, this is like an attic? I don't understand. So this mom is bringing a kid up the stairs while these two other kids are working on a motorcycle in what I think is a garage. Oh, they're using gasoline to clean their bike. Who uses gasoline gasoline to clean stuff. This is something that I must read up on the internet. I must be like the least handyman type of guy to not understand that like gasoline must be the cleaning solution. That's because we're cleaning the bikes with gasoline. Jeez, Christ. Oh, that's not good. So yeah, there's fumes all over the place. Kid goes to start the bike, which then, of course, causes a chain reaction. Large explosion. This boy's young sister is engulfed in flames, and they cannot find her as the fire begins to rage on. So this guy grabs a bucket of water to try and put it out. Yeah, his buddy, the smart one that tried to start the bike inside, nonetheless. There's all sorts of bad things going on here. Number one, they're cleaning this bike with gasoline. Okay, great. Number two, they're in an enclosed space. Okay. Number three, they decide to try and start the bike in an enclosed space. Well, we got gasoline fumes. Obviously, that's the point we're trying to get across with the book here. That's bad news. All right, it's going to cause an explosion. Not to mention the fact that you may possibly asphyxiate from the fact your bike is started and we have carbon monoxide pouring out of the exhaust. Okay, no problem there. But then brilliant man who started the bike in the first place gives his other friend grief. You idiot, water and gasoline don't mix, you only spread it. And they cannot find his sister. She is gone. Next page. Poor Laura, this girl that's missing now in this blaze. Oh, Daredevil catches a scent. The same thing that he smelled before when he encountered Vapora. Vapora, not the most eloquent of speakers. Pain, terror, hurt, death. This girl's brother, he's trying to stick around and help her out, but he can't. Luckily, Daredevil shows up. Now, how is Daredevil going to beat Vapora? I'm curious. Vapora, go away. She is mine for pain, for power. Die, red man. More pain, bigger, better, bigger for me. Oh, hey. Survival instincts kick in, muscles tense, drop, roll. Stop, drop, and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and Daredevil is on fire. Oh, he's trying to figure out what to do. Fight fire with water, but not chemical fires. That thing is heavy with gas vapor. Air dissipates vapors. If I open the garage door, no good. Too much oxygen. Cause a backdraft. How's he going to beat her? Oh, he senses a fire extinguisher on the shelf. This little girl is just sitting right underneath the fire extinguisher, praying that it's a B-type fire extinguisher, praying that it's not empty or broken. I don't know what a B-type, I assume that's the foamy kind. Oh, her hand is her hand on fire? Oh, goodness. Her hand is like smoking and black. Ooh. Like I'm not seeing anything, but like leading up to this, but Daredevil grabs her and after the fire is put out and he's kind of hanging back against the wall hugging her, and her little hand, oh, it's kind of horrifying actually. It's black and there's like white smoke coming off her little hand. Would you like to hear Matt Murdock's closing arguments here? Here we go. This is Matt Murdock again defending the landlord of the building who has been accused of arson. He says, yes, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, gasoline vapors caused this terrible fire, but maybe we are too quick to accuse this landlord of arson. Many people don't know how dangerous gasoline really is. These people take big risks in using it to clean things, to remove things. Gasoline is a motor fuel, nothing else. This is a good example of how not to use gasoline. Our investigation has shown that the tenant, Mr. Jusko, was using gasoline to remove tile adhesive in his kitchen. And now look at the sad price. His daughter is badly burned and all his family's belongings are gone. But not even little Angel Jusko's parents blame Abraham Ratowski. How can you? So, jury's out, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Not guilty. Okay. Regarding Vapora, the thing in the garage, Vapora, is gone, destroyed, but it's not. Daredevil knows it's not. It's only hiding, biding its time, waiting for its next victim. Spring, summer, winter, fall, it doesn't matter. It's always the season for tears. Okay, back cover. Let's talk about it. Vex the Vapors. Play it safe with gasoline. Daredevil bringing you some knowledge about gasoline and gasoline vapors. Here we go again, just in case you didn't get it the first time. Gasoline is a motor fuel. Never use it as a cleaner or to start a fire. Fill lawnmowers, motorbikes, power saws, only when the motor is cool. Oh, I'm guilty of that one. I will be mowing the yard, and I will run out of gas, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit here and wait another 10 minutes, 15 minutes for this motor to cool. I'm going to put some gas in this thing and go. Ooh, I violated that one. Okay. Never use gasoline indoors. Okay, I can say that I've never done that. I never use gasoline near a heat or ignition source. Now, keep gasoline only in an approved gasoline container. Done that. Make sure the container is tightly capped. Never store gasoline in plastic milk jugs or glass containers. Over the course of the pandemic here at some point, this was probably a few months ago, I saw on Facebook where somebody had gotten pulled over And I don't know if this was during like when gasoline prices started going way up or something. They pulled this person over, opened up their trunk, and inside their trunk were trash bags and clear bags full of gasoline. Not safe. Never fill gasoline containers to the top. Allow room for vapor expansion. I have put it to the top, but I shouldn't say that I've done that and stored it. Usually I don't store it completely full because I'm taking it back to the house and putting it into the gas tank of a lawnmower or something like that. Store gasoline in a safe container on a high shelf in a cool place away from the house. Well, mine's out in my garage, right by the car. Basically at knee level. So on the back cover here, the Fume of Doom, Daredevil versus Vapora. I'm invisible. You can't see me until it's too late. This is Vapora talking. I can escape if a gasoline container is open or has a leak. I can travel from room to room, finding an ignition source. I love to leak out into a closed room, and I'm heavier than air and travel along the ground. Oh, very interesting. A lot of stuff there that I've learned. Wow, what an educational book. I've learned a lot here. When I first saw this, I was really hoping that it was about. Sorry, I'm sitting here getting my Mylar sleeve opened, so I had to pull the tape back so I could put my issue of Daredevil versus Vapora into the Mylar sleeve. Acid free, please. I need some backboards. What I was hoping this was going to be about, I was hoping it was going to be about huffing. I was hoping that the little kid on the front was reaching for the gas can to do some huffing, and in the back, Daredevil was choking because you shouldn't be huffing gasoline fumes, man. That is not the case, though. Very educational. Yeah, it came out in 93. The back cover has a 1994 copyright date on it. Gas Appliance Manufacturers Association. Well, so I've been talking about a little bit more than a half hour now. My dryer has not caught fire. That's good. I do need to go check to make sure that it's still heating properly, because I had to replace the dryer element in it. And I do not have any gas down here in the basement. Do not store it in the basement. It's good. So this has been exciting. This has been educational. I hope you guys had a good time. All right. Later.
Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to give that Rattlich in Broadcasting Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts we have to offer. We are at home on Spreaker, but you can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and recently we have hit the air on Spotify. Find your favorite podcast platform and type in RADULICH to subscribe for some great content. If you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word, and as always, we appreciate any feedback and look forward to entertaining you again soon.